Hi, this is Bernice, Itsy Bitsy Imaginarium. In this video I'd like to show you how I make my anatomical heart. What you will need is nylon pliers, flush cutters, flat nose, round nose and chain nose pliers, 18 gauge and 26 gauge wire. To make your frame you need to cut 14 inches of 18 gauge wire. Find the centre and gently bend it. Then using your fingers and your thumb, curve both ends. This gets the shape of your heart. Bend till you get the shape that you like. Then using your flat nose pliers, bend the wire up straight. This is for your bail. Do it on both sides. You want to keep your wires nice and straight because this is going to be part of the heart, the bail. Using 26 gauge, secure your wire around one side. I do around 4 or 5 wraps, that should secure it enough. Push it down to the end and then wrap round both wires to make your bail. You need your bail about 3 centimetres, which is just over an inch long. Don't forget to use your flat nose pliers to keep it nice and flat and secured together. You can do this with square wire as well. I've only got round wire in though at the moment. Once you have your 3 centimetres wrapped, press with your nylon pliers or flat nose if you don't have nylon. Now you need to secure your wire on one of your 2 wires, it doesn't matter which one. 4 or 5 times again is fine. Now snip that off. Use your nylon to get rid of any sharp edges. Sorry, not your nylon, your chain nose. Now you want to measure about 1/2 inch. And using your flat nose, bend the bail to the back. Bend them 2 wires out and curve them slightly. Secure these wires around your frame. This gives you something to add all the extra pieces that we'll be making on. Once they're secure, just snip them off. Again, making sure there's no sharp edges. And there's your frame. Cut 7 inches of 18 gauge and find the centre. Gently bend, keeping one side straight. Gently curve the other side the same way you did the frame. Check that it fits the same. Measure about 2 inches from the bottom of the curve and bend your curved wire out a bit. This just makes it easy to do your weaving. You want it to fit half of your frame. Using 26 gauge, secure your wire around the bottom where the curve is. This fills that little gap. And then you want to do a figure of 8 weave. I start off with 2 wraps around each wire, and then as the curve gets slightly bigger, I do 3 round the curve and 2 round the straight wire. You want to do this for the full 2 inches. I believe this makes the right ventricle, if I've got the right word. It does take a while. I will speed up in a bit and I'll come back when I get to the full 2 inches. Now you've got your full 2 inches done. The weaving wire that was at the bottom that you secured it with, you need to use that to fasten it to your frame. Wrap it around the frame and through the weave. 2 or 3 times is enough just to make it nice and secure. It is easy to do without the camera there. Now secure the other wires to the frame. Wrapping round twice should be enough. Snip your wires. Make sure there's no pokey out bits. Sorry. Now you need to do that again, the whole thing, another 7 inches of 18 gauge, but the curve needs to fit the other half of your frame. Exactly the same, the full the full figure of 8 weave. I won't make you watch me do it again. I'll come back when I've got the 2 inches done. Now you have your second piece done, you need to secure it to the frame, the same way you did the first one, using your 26 gauge wire for the bottom and using the other 2 wires to fasten to the frame. It looks fiddlier than it is, it's because I've got the camera in the way. You'll find it much easier. I hope you're enjoying these videos. It would help me out a lot if you'd like and subscribe. Again, you'll only need a couple of twists around these 2 wires, just to make sure it stays on there nice and tight. You don't want to do too many because you've got other things that need securing on there. Sorry. Snip your wires. Make sure you've got no sharp edges. That's your second part done. Now to make this section, you need to cut 10 inches of your 18 gauge wire and start to coil 26 gauge round it. You need to do around 2/3 of the length of this wire. I find it easier to start from where I want my other third to be, so that I know where to stop rather than do too much. Now you snip your ends. Make sure you've got no pokey bits. There's quite a bit on this end, so I'll just wrap it round a bit more before I snip it. Make sure there's no sharp edges. Here I'm using one of the bars from my coiling gizmo. You can do it directly to a piece of 18 gauge wire, but I find it easier on my hands to use the gizmo. Securing it to the handle, gently wrap it round the bar. I'm not using the handle of the gizmo, there's not enough room under the camera. Gently twist it round until the section you've coiled is all used up. Squeezing it down so it's nice and tight. Once the coiled section's done, the bare wire, just wrap a couple more times round just so it's nice and tight. And then do the same to the other side, just remove it from the handle and wrap it round. Snip it, make sure there's no sharp edges, and then remove it from the bar. Measuring 1 centimetre from the end, gently pull it apart enough so you can get your pliers in there, your flush cutters. You want to just snip it at 1 centimetre and then push the ends back together again so it's nice and tight still. Now put them to one side and measure 5 inches of 18 gauge wire. This is to make a small frame that these 2 pieces of coil will fasten to. At around 2 inches, hold with your chain nose pliers and bend both sides of the wire the same way. On the longer of the 2 sections, bend it around 5 millimeters. And then at around 1 centimetre, bend it back again. Using the tip of your pliers, bend it again towards the original wire. Make it like making a chunky T. At the 1 centimetre, bend it back so it's facing the same way as the other wire, and that's your frame done. Make sure you keep your wire nice and straight. check it fits. Using 26 gauge, you need to secure your coils to this piece now. It's up to you how you do this. I just wrap it round and then secure it through. You'll see how I do it. Find your own way, whichever you find easiest. I like to wrap it the same way the coil's going, because then it adds a bit of texture to the pattern as well. I need a bit more than that. Pull a bit more off and snip it. Secure it to the frame up at the top. And then feed it through the hole so it comes down at the bottom again. Then it can be secured down at the bottom too. Wrapping it round your base wire. Now wrap the 26 gauge round the small section of the frame just once. Just so it's in the right place. Now holding your small section of coil, wrap round and secure it to the frame. Do this a couple of times. Snipping your wire. And making sure there's no sharp edges anywhere. I like to use the extra wire to just go around again and make sure everything's secured together. Securing it to the frame. Once you've wrapped it a couple of times and it's secure enough, just snip your wire. And pinch in any sharp ends. Now it's time to secure it to your frame. So you open your two wires up a bit. And gently bend them back. You want to wrap the first one around the outside part of the frame. Two or three times should do it. I've had to make this a 4-part video. I hope you do come back for the next part. It was over 2 hours long. Pinch in any sharp ends and then secure the last wire wherever it fits on them inside wires, wherever you find it most secure. Pinch your wire, put it in nice and tight with your chain nose pliers, and that's that part done. I hope you come back for the next video. Thank you.